Alright, it's past my bedtime, but I'm feeling real mischievous tonight. And, um, so I'm getting on. I was supposed to be asleep 7 minutes ago, but we're gonna back test. Um, I need some type of. Low key would rather a podcast than music. So I think we're gonna put a little podcast on.
I'm always watching their eyes and these fighters' eyes. It's amazing to me. Like years ago, I saw a Mayweather fight, and it was obviously on pay-per-view, and he was just getting paid for sure, right? That was his thing. But it was always amazing me in the slow mo, like where he would slip punches by like centimeters. It made me think that like his depth perception and the depth perception of fighters successful fighters must just be exquisite. Because I mean, like slipping at that distance with just a chin movement.
That's one thing, but it's also pattern recognition. You've been doing it so many times, and you know. So, really good fighters, one of the things that you see is they don't just charge out in the first round. The first round is like a feeling out process. So you're downloading a lot of data points. You're downloading foot movement, and a lot of guys watch tape and they download it from that. But then you don't really know until you're in there with a person. So they're downloading positions. They're downloading what a guy does. Like if you pivot to the left, does he move forward? Does he move back? Does he throw the left hook? Does he throw the right hand? What does he do? And how good is he at closing distance? Does he try to fire from where he's at, or does he skip forward and fire? Does he give any telltale signs? Does he telegraph? So there's a lot of things that a fighter looks for. Mayweather had some of the best counterpunchers in the history of the fucking sport. He was so good at like staying in the pocket. So he was an elusive guy. Yeah, insane.
Or there's he slipping.
Pattern
right?
recognition. Pattern recognition. So he knows that left hook is coming. And so look how straight he throws that right hand. See how straight he threw that? So Canelo is throwing these big wide punches, and Floyd is just cutting him off at the path and then moving his head out of the line of those hooks that come his way.
So, do you think it's conscious? I'm obsessed with this notion of unconscious genius. Like different domains of super high performance where the people don't exactly know how they do it, but they do it.
Well, you know how you do it, but you've also done it so many times in the gym and in fights that it's second nature, so you're not thinking of it as you're doing it. One of the things about countering people is, I used to, when I was in my prime, when I was fighting all the time, I would throw kicks and they would land before I even knew I was going to do it. Because someone would do something, and as they would do something, I instinctively knew, because of pattern recognition, there's going to be an opening. Like, say, if some guy lifts his left leg, if he's standing with his left leg forward, and he lifts his left leg, and he's coming towards me with his left leg, I know that he's balancing on that right leg, and that the left leg is coming this way, and if I spin and catch him, I can catch him as his momentum is going this way, and I'll catch him that way, and it'll double the power of the punch or the kick. And
Did somebody teach it to you? Because there's like a conscious awareness of how you do it. I guess I think this notion of pattern recognition, it's interesting because earlier we were talking about pattern recognition for finding people who are lying, right? You have this pattern recognition thing that, you're not saying it's perfect, but like you can sense something. There's things that, and so it's a combination of things that we aren't always aware of. That's the unconscious part of the unconscious genius thing that I'm referring to. And so there's this idea like our brains are pattern recognition prediction machines. And so do you think, like, in other words, two questions. Do you think Mayweather was ever pulled aside and said, listen, pay attention to their left shoulder and keep your eye on his right eye? I'm just
100%.
Okay.
100%.
And were you ever told, hey, if his left leg comes up, that means he's balancing on his right, so you need to prepare a counterattack or an attack? So
that's where drills come in. Okay, so you do drills, and you do drills constantly. And one of the things that Mayweather's father was a great fighter. Mayweather's father fought Sugar Ray Leonard back in the 1970s when Sugar Ray was in his prime, and gave him a hell of a fight. And his brother, or his uncle rather, his uncle Roger, was Roger Mayweather, the Black Mamba. He was a great fighter. So he grew up as a child around some of the best boxers in the world. And so he was constantly seeing the successful motions that they did and constantly seeing them exploit weaknesses in other fighters, and then constantly sparring. So in sparring, you're not just fighting when you're sparring, but you're just sort of downloading data. You're downloading data points for a real fight. And then you're doing drills where a guy will, some guys, they'll do it with mitts. Well, they'll throw a hand at you and they'll slip and counter. Here, let me show you this. There's this guy, Ilia Topuria. And Ilia Topuria is one of the absolute best fighters in the world. He's the current UFC featherweight champion. And the dude is just fucking phenomenal. But when one of the things that's phenomenal about him is his technique. His technique is perfect. There's like no fat in his technique. There's no wasted movement. So when an opportunity presents itself, everything is so fast because the technique is so streamlined. But like, look at how he hits the pads. And when you watch how he hits the pads, and Mayweather is a great example of that as well. Did I send it to you? No? Didn't go through? I totally sent it. Hold on. It says I sent it. No, yeah, it's on Instagram. I sent it to you though on a text message. Really? I sent it twice. You got it? Okay. Ilia Topuria, like I said, some of the best hands in the sport. Current UFC featherweight champion, and knocked out Volkanovski, who was maybe the greatest of all time. Watch him hit the punches. Look at this. See how he's moving his head when the guy throws punches? Just slipping, just slightly.
It's like total economy of movement.
And the speed, man. The fucking speed of that. Look at the hand. Look at the hand speed. Fucking incredible. I mean, if you know how difficult that is to do and do it that fast, give me that sound again. Let me hear this. I mean, these are like 5-6 punches a second.
Yeah, it almost sounds like, it almost looks like it's sped up by
Right.
1.5 times, 1.75.
But it's not. And just phenomenal technique. But see how those punches, like, they're not even talking. So when he's throwing the mitts at his head to get him to duck, there's no communication. He just sees that hand coming towards him and he's ducking. He sees this hand coming towards him and he's ducking. It's all like slight slips away, and it's slight motions, which is all you need to get away from a punch, right? You don't want to move too far. You're wasting a lot of energy and you can't counterattack. One of the best things about Floyd, and one of the most brilliant things about him, he's one of the most elusive fighters of all time, but he didn't move around. He stood right in front of you and you couldn't fucking hit him. That's true mastery of space and true mastery of technique. I mean, he's in my opinion, he's the best boxer that's ever lived.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not qualified to rank people, but I watched when he was making that ascent towards it. It ended up being 50,
He just fought last weekend. This weekend, yeah, he fought a match against John Gotti's grandson, which is crazy.
That's scary for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, for a lot of reasons, right? But this is the second time they fought. The first time they fought, it ended in a brawl. Like a bunch of people jumped in the ring. It was crazy because they stopped the fight because they were talking too much shit to each other and holding on to each other too much. So the referee stopped the fight for whatever reason, I don't know. And in this fight was even crazy too because the first referee was terrible. And the referee said Floyd Mayweather hit him behind the head. Absolutely incorrect call. Floyd threw a right hand and it caught him on the side of the head, and the referee claimed that it was behind the head. So Floyd fired the referee in the middle of the bout. He stops the bout. He's like, "Get the fuck out of here! Get out of here!"
Because he's the promoter, also.
Well, I guess. I mean, also it's Floyd Mayweather. Like, what's the referee gonna do? Fuck you? You know, I'm gonna stop the fight. Like, also they're in Mexico City. Like, you could get killed. Like, just get out of the ring, buddy. So Floyd throws this punch, and he's 100% correct. The punch landed the side of the head. It's a right hook. It's a perfect punch. And the referee was saying, watch the back of the head. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? That wasn't the back of the head. And so he kicks the guy out. And they bring in a different referee who finishes the fight. It was insanity.
And Floyd won.
It was an exhibition. It's kind of a bullshit money grab, honestly. So this is, you see the punch? That's the punch right there. It's just a right hook. So he's saying back of the head. Like, so Floyd's like, get the fuck out of here. Just get out of here. Fuck you, get out of here. He's like, get the fuck out of here. And if anybody's qualified to say get out of here, it's fucking Floyd Mayweather, the best boxer of all time. He's 100% correct. That referee made a giant, stupid error. He's like, get out of here. Get out of here. He's like, get out of the fucking ring.
This is his domain.
Yeah, and he's right. Everybody watching it is right. No one thinks it's a bad punch. So let's see it again. We can see it one more time. It's a counter right hand. Let's do it. We can see it in slow motion. So he throws the punch. Boom. It's just a perfect right hook. It's a perfect right hook. What it does is a punch that goes over the top of the guard and catches him in the exposed area of the head. It's a perfect punch. And for the referee to interfere there, and also it's literally like someone who probably doesn't know how to box at all telling the greatest boxer of all time that what he's doing is wrong, which is just bananas.
It's crazy.
So he got rid of the guy in the middle of the fight. But he's still doing these bouts at 46 years old, still boxing these young kids. Again, this John Gotti III, who is a very good up-and-coming MMA fighter. So, he has all the weapons, takedowns, submissions, kicks, all that jazz. But he's choosing to fight Floyd in a boxing fight just for money, just like Conor McGregor did. It's really a trick. He gets these people to box with him. They have no business boxing with him. And he's making millions and millions of dollars doing this way after his competitive career is over. Which is,
I guess he's earned that right.
Hey, man, he's a genius. He really is a genius. He's a genius in figuring out a way to keep
It might just be
making
from
money.
researching time
And one of the reasons why people watch him fight is not because he's like Mike Tyson, just goes out and
But
destroys
hey,
people.
let's go,
They like
man.
watching him fight because they hate him. Because he talks so much shit, and he's like, look at my $1 million watch. Look at my fucking jet. Look at my house. Look at this. He's like constantly showing you all these things that he has. Like he'll lay out watches in a hotel bed. Like this is $1 million worth of watches. This watch goes for $2 million. And they're like, this is my small watch that I take sometimes, but I want to show you. When I show up, I bring out the big boy, and it brings out this watch that's covered in diamonds. It's like fucking $5 million. And so you hate him. People hate him.
He creates envy.
Yes, yeah, he creates envy, and you want him to lose, but he's not gonna. He's so good. But the other thing is discipline, right? He's not just this cocky guy who's like really good at boxing. He also has incredible discipline.
I've seen clips of him running in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he would go to a nightclub with everybody else, be drinking water. Everybody's partying, having a good time. Floyd would leave the nightclub at 2 a.m., have his bodyguards drive the car, and he would run in front of the car for hours. Run home, 2 o'clock in the morning. Run 5-6 miles. And did it all the time. Just always did. He was always fit, always in shape. Never got fat, never got lazy, always was ready, and so never really experienced decline. And then decided at a certain point in time, like after the Conor McGregor fight, okay, I'm done. Done. Did it all. Beat everybody. Undefeated. Bye. And now he just has these demonstration fights where they're weird little exhibitions where he's just beating people up that have no business in the ring with him. And one of them, he was walking around with a ring card. He took it from the ring card girl and he started dancing around. So he's like under
life.
No threat whatsoever.
Yeah, he's enjoying life. Well, people like to be angry. I'm always calling to mind a study. I'll keep this really brief, but there's a famous study by a guy named Robert Heath, who was a neurosurgeon, and he put a bunch of stimulating electrodes into the brain of some humans getting neurosurgery, and he offered them the opportunity to stimulate any area they wanted. And he stimulates some areas, and they'd feel happy or giddy or drunk or sexual arousal or whatever. The one area that there were only 3 subjects, but for human neurosurgery, that's not a terrible subject number. The area that all 3 of them preferred vastly over the other areas to be stimulated evoked the sense of anger and frustration.
Really?
Yeah, people like to be angry.
Which is why Twitter is so popular.
Yeah. And to some extent Instagram, and I don't know.
Sure, but Twitter is the most because it's mostly just talking. Or mostly just text. Instagram is photographs, and so you could just. I don't comment on people's photos very, very rarely. I might have commented on photos 12 times in my life. Just a friend, like, that's awesome, way to go, something nice. Mm-hmm. But I don't even read comments. But I look at pictures. I go, oh, that's cool. Oh, look at that video. That's fucking crazy. I'll give it a little tap, double tap, give you a little heart, give you a little love, and then move on about my day. But in Twitter, I'm constantly just engaging with people's thoughts and arguments and debates. And that's why I think Twitter's the most addictive of all the social media platforms. In terms of engagement, but not as addictive as TikTok in terms of it compels you to continue to watch. I want to keep going with this, but I have to pee so bad. I did the sauna before we got here, and I drank 64 liters of water, or 64 ounces, rather. All right, we'll be right back. we were at People Like to Get Angry, and you were saying that you had another urge to take another sniff of these smelling salts.
So I'm observing something interesting about the smelling salts. Like it's definitely like hits hard, and then you feel really good afterwards. You can feel it in your body. You can feel it in my body, and then I notice there's kind of a hunger for it.
Right, like another hit.
Yeah, like maybe in 20 minutes or so.
It's like a cocaine thing.
Oh, well,
allegedly.
I've never tried cocaine.
Me neither. Good for you.
But
But that's what I hear.
yeah, I wonder. I doubt that hits the dopamine circuit, but a little valuable science tidbit. We hear so much about dopamine, adrenaline. Look, there are 3 molecules. They're called the catecholamines: dopamine, epinephrine, adrenaline, and norepinephrine, noradrenaline. And they are actually some are biochemical derivatives of others, and they are cousins. They work like a little clan of molecules to raise alertness and focus and drive. I think the great Robert Sapolsky said it best. He said, dopamine is not about the pursuit of pleasure. It's about the pleasure of pursuit.
That makes sense.
And that's why he's Robert Sapolsky.
Yeah, it's all about the journey.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you combine motivation with adrenaline, which gets your body in a position to move better, and noradrenaline, which kind of works in between those two. It's a little more complicated, not worth going into. But they work as kind of like a gang of 3 to raise alertness, directional motivation, and go. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of a dopaminergic aspect to those smelling salts. I'd have to
Yeah.
look it up and see. But
Must
I certainly like it. It feels good. It feels good.
Everybody likes it.
Yeah,
That's
and
what's weird.
I like, that's why I've never tried cocaine or amphetamine. Like I like upstates,
Yeah.
as they call them.
Me too, same thing. I've never tried Adderall either, but I've been tempted.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
people tell me about it. I'm like, Jesus.
I've never tried it.
I get organized.
I'm trying to think of that. There's some, there was a chart out on Twitter. We were just talking about Twitter where all the different nootropics, or let's not call them smart drugs, but things that can enhance alertness, things like alpha GPC. So, as you know, 600 milligrams alpha GPC. I don't care who it is that's like, where's the double-blind placebo-controlled study that shows it raises alertness and focus? Look, as much as I believe in science, you don't need a double-blind placebo-controlled study to know that a swift kick in the shin hurts, and that 600 milligrams of alpha GPC is going to make you more alert. Is it
Well,
safe?
we did
Is it-
double-blind placebo-controlled studies
Right.
for Alpha Brain.
Right. And so they exist, and certainly that's one that I would put kind of high on the tier of things for if you want alertness and focus. It's certainly more benign than a lot of prescription drugs that
But
create alertness.
theanine's also really effective for that too, and I don't know how many studies there are on that.
Not as many. Theanine takes away the jitters. Like 100 to 200 milligrams of theanine will take away the jitters associated with stimulants, which is why it's now in a lot of energy drinks. So you'll see alpha GPC, theanine, sometimes L-tyrosine, which is a precursor to dopamine. But there were a couple of things on that list, including prescription drugs, like modafinil, for instance, which
Right.
was originally designed for the treatment of narcolepsy.
Was it designed for that, or was it designed as a performance-enhancing drug, but they needed a way to prescribe it?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. So for the treatment of narcolepsy, it also has been shown to improve alertness and cognitive function in sleep-deprived individuals. So you can imagine military finding that very
So
useful.
that's Nuvigilant, Provigil, right?
Correct.
I took that stuff for a while. Was taking it, and you know what I would really like to take it? Like, say if I had a gig in San Diego, and I was done with my gig at like 11 o'clock, I was like, I want to go home. I don't want to stay in a hotel. Fuck it, let me drive home. And if I would drive home, there'd be that risk of the sleep coming on because of there's a weird thing about being on the highway, about those lines. They fucking hypnotize
Oh,
you.
yeah.
It's really
Oh,
weird.
yeah. And
Yeah, and so
Sure.
for anybody out here, listen to this because my manager told me this. It's really important. If you think you're going to fall asleep, there's a great way to mitigate it that's pain-free. Get a rag, like a washcloth, and some ice and some water, and have like a little thing next to you with a cold, wet rag, and just wipe that rag on your face, and then you're good for like 5 more minutes. Reach in there and you start, oh man, I'm just getting sleepy again. Wipe that rag on your face, you wake right up.
this is a great one.
Pain-free.
This is a great one, and it fits right in with what Matt Walker says to do the opposite to fall asleep. Will you wash your face with warm water, take a hot shower,
I go to the sauna.
or go in the sauna? Everyone says, well, you're heating up your body. You need to cool down to fall asleep. But you heat up the surface of your body, and the medial preoptic area of your hypothalamus, which is your brain's thermostat, says, hey, the surface of the body is heating up. What should I do? Cool down my core temperature, and that puts you to sleep.
Would it be bad to do sauna and then cold plunge and then try to go to sleep?
I do that if I'm late in the day and I'm tired. It's not a problem, but I end with kind of a warmish shower. If I want to be
okay.
alert, I end on cold. If I want to go to sleep,
Right.
I end with warm.
Which is why I start the day with cold.
Right.
To
And
wake up.
And when you get in the cold. The surface of the body gets cold. That's kind of a no-brainer. And the core body temperature goes up because the medial preoptic area, your brain's thermostat, says, wait, the surface of the body's cooling down. I'm going to heat up. And waking up in the morning is largely the consequence of body temperature going up. So why do you wake up more quickly in the cold? Well, body temperature goes up more quickly. Also, big shot of adrenaline from cold water. Nobody escapes the adrenaline from cold water.
Right.
At least upon getting in, as long as it's cold enough. And last time you picked on me about how warm I'm keeping my ice
If
bath.
this
Can't even
does
recall the
break
measurement. So
structure
my
to the
cold plunge is
downside
now
on the
set
video, now I'm
at
gonna enter.
mid-40s.
That's better.
Getting better.
Yeah, I'm gonna enter.
But I still go into the sauna at 210, 220.
By the way, I don't know if I'm right. I'm probably wrong. My wife doesn't want. She wants to get a second cold plunge because she doesn't like how cold mine is. Because mine has ice in it.
Yeah, you're probably in the 30s.
Yeah, it's 34.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking cold as
Yeah,
shit.
It's beast mode kind of.
I've got a new one that I got from Morosco. We have two. So we have one here at the gym that's a blue cube. This one's insane because you can crank it and you turn up
Christ
the knob and
definitely
it'll be like
does
a
have
flowing raging river.
Oh, well, and the
a
flow
chance of going
breaks up
down
the thermal layer
a
on the
lot
outside
better.
body. When you're sitting in the cold plunge, I always say those stoic things where people are in the cold
We're gonna
plunge,
try and get
real
greedy
still,
here.
Yeah.
looking tough. Tell that person to sift their arms around, let that cold water get in your
Oh, yeah.
armpits. Well, what's happening is you're breaking up the thermal layer that keeps you a little bit warmer. This is why we
Shoot,
huddle in there.
wait, do I know
Because it's
this
not like you're
sound
making
or no?
yourself, like it's
I
not like
don't
you're wearing
know.
a jacket.
I'm gonna
When
move
you
this
move
to-
or the
oh, I didn't
water's
confirm
moving,
it.
Yeah.
much more
Dang
effective.
it.
It's painful.
But
to
let's see if we
just
get on
check my
here.
watch
I
to
don't
see
think.
how much
I
time
don't
got
know.
left.
I'm not sure about this
Yeah,
one.
I have a
sucks.
system down. If I count slowly to 10 two times, so I count to 20, and I know exactly how long my breath is for it to be 3 minutes. I know how to do it, so I do it now.
That's
It's
awesome.
It's a little cheating.
You
It's
know
a
what
little
I do?
Cheating.
Man, I can't believe I'm going to admit this publicly. You know what I do? I got two little rubber duckies in there. One's a tougher looking rubber ducky, and his name is Rogan. I'm not kidding. I shot a video of this. I'll send it to you. My producer's going to kill me. And then there's another one, and that's Huberman. And it's you basically teasing me about what a wuss I am. And I do that for the entire time I'm in the cold plunge. So I forget that I'm in the cold plunge. And then at the end, you go, okay, you can get out now. And I'm like, okay.
Well, here's what it is. I don't know if the cold is if it's any better to be 34 degrees or if it's any better to be 45 degrees or 50 degrees. But what I do know is that I don't like 34 degrees. So that's why I do it. Because if I feel like I can get away with making it a little bit easier, I feel like a bitch. So that's why I do it as cold as it can get before it freezes solid, which seems to be 34 degrees.
Yeah. Well, this gets to something that I know we've talked a little bit about before offline, not on microphone, which is doing hard things translates to an ability to do hard things and probably translates, provided it doesn't kill you, to a longer life.
And you've explained that there's actually a part of your brain that grows.
So there's a brain area that most neuroscientists aren't aware of called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. Okay, scientists who are in the know about it. It's I teach neuroanatomy, medical students at Stanford. It's an area that we cover in passing, but there are a lot of brain areas. You got to get can't get to everything. But in the last couple of years, there have been studies of this area, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, that make it super important for everybody to know about, not just neuroscientists. And here's the deal. A colleague of mine at Stanford, Joe Parvizi, he's a neurosurgeon. He's in there stimulating different brain areas, including anterior mid-cingulate cortex and areas near it, in human patients while they're awake, preparing them for neurosurgery for other reasons. Stimulates anterior mid-cingulate cortex, and what do all people who have their anterior mid-cingulate cortex report? They feel like there's something about to happen, something's kind of looming, a challenge, a storm, some will report it as a storm, or a physical challenge, but their overall sensation is one that they want to lean into it, they want to challenge it. Now, this area has subsequently been imaged in people who are successful dieters, it grows larger. In people that fail at a dieting or nutrition program, it gets smaller. People that embrace a new form of exercise, and here's the key point, that they don't want to do, this area gets bigger. People that are just doing things that they enjoy doing, does not change in shape or size. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is larger in volume in a group of people called super-agers, okay? That's a bit of a misnomer because it implies they age faster. They actually age more slowly as it relates to cognitive decline. The slope of cognitive decline is not as steep in these people, meaning they're holding on to cognitive abilities longer than other people into older age. And the universal quality among these super-agers is not just a larger anterior mid-cingulate cortex, but that they challenge themselves to do things that are challenging and they kind of don't want to do or really don't want to do. So when we hear, oh, people should do crossword puzzles to maintain their memory, probably good to keep some cognitive flexibility going. But if you love crossword puzzles, you're not going to grow your anterior mid-cingulate cortex.
Right.
If you love 45 degrees in the cold plunge after an hour-long run in the hills, which I do, probably not going to do much to grow this area. If you really don't want to do something and you do it, this area gets bigger. And it's got inputs and outputs from all of these different brain areas that make all of this make sense, like the dopamine system, like the learning and memory system, like the areas of the brain that say, no, I'm going to retreat from that. It's aversive. But you push yourself to do something that you don't want to do. This area gets bigger. And the best part is it translates to an ability to do harder things elsewhere. This, to me, I get obviously super excited about because it's nested in human data and animal data, in real-world examples of dieting and exercise and aging and longevity and all of that. And it speaks to much of what you've talked about on this podcast for years and years, which is do hard things. It will give you an ability to do other hard things. But if you love doing deadlifts, honestly, even sets to failure on those deadlifts, enjoy them, benefit from them, all the wonderful things that come with doing deadlifts, great. But you should probably also do something that you don't enjoy doing if you have an interest in the kind of benefits that we're talking about.
Well, it completely makes sense that your brain would have to develop an ability to continue to do difficult things, and that ability to not hesitate and push through, the ability to not procrastinate and go forward, and that thing is probably like all things. It's like cardiovascular endurance, muscular endurance. Like you develop an ability to do more of it because of that.
Right.
Because your brain recognizes this is something that we're going to have to deal with. Let's figure out how to respond to this.
Right. And movement itself, like physical movement or cognitive movement, if you're learning new things like comedy, preparing new things, or learning poetry or drawing. Like I used to draw a lot. I've started drawing again, carry around this notebook everywhere. I'm not going to show the drawings. They're just for me. But pushing myself to do something that I enjoy, but that like there's a barrier there.
Are you any good?
I mean, I do anatomical drawings.
Let me see what you got. You got a lot of dicks in there?
No.
It's like super bad.
Actually, I think here's.
Remember Super
Sorry,
Bad?
these are just my
This is one of my favorite
These are actually
scenes in a
just.
movie
This
ever.
is my journal book notes, but my.
Okay.
But I've actually. I used to post my drawings on Instagram. That's how I started.
Really?
In 2019, I wasn't thinking about having a podcast. I was just posting pictures of the retina, talking about the
When
retina.
did we meet?
So 2019, I started posting on Instagram. 2020, I came on this podcast for the first time.
Okay.
But you were in LA at that time.
Right.
And and then I went on Lex's podcast a little bit later, and then he goes, "You should start a podcast." So I started
There you go.
January 21.
Yeah. Okay. So here's some of you. Oh wow, pretty
They're
good.
not great.
Dude.
They're just
Not
for
bad
fun.
at
They're just for
all.
fun. They're just for fun.
Not bad at all.
But I like to use them to teach.
Mhm.
So they're not. Listen, I'm no Da Vinci, but
Dude, that's pretty fucking good, actually.
But the point, I'm obsessed with this thing that somewhere between perfect accuracy and total representation of biology, like a brain or a set of cells, and at the other end of the continuum, like ball and stick, there's like a perfect sweet spot for teaching. And so what I'm doing there is what I do in the classroom. I go, okay, listen, we're going to talk about how muscle releases a microRNA that helps you burn fat. And then I kind of remind people, like, there's fat, so I don't want too much detail, but I don't want too little detail
Dude, that's
either.
good. Like the anatomy of the hand is dead on. That's really
Thank you.
good.
So I'm trying. I'm trying.
No, that's really good.
And of course, that's not anatomically correct. Like the nerves don't spit out of the tip of the finger.
Right.
But when you're trying to teach,
Dude, that's good eye. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, like I'm just trying. I'm not trying to be Da Vinci. I just want people to learn the information. So,
One of my daughters is insanely good.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to be a comic book illustrator when I was young, and I always wonder like how much of talent gets passed on to kids.
it's hard to separate nature and nurture there. But
Yeah.
honestly, I think there's something there.
There's something there.
There's something
because there's certain people that like
How
if
the
their
fuck do I
parent was
work
a
this out?
singer, like, but then you go, well, maybe
There's
they're
not
sitting
even
around
that.
the house a
There's
lot
not really
growing
even
up.
like that low.
People are gonna think I'm weird for saying this, but I don't care. I am weird. I'm gonna say it anyway. Schulz, the way he moves, like how
Mhm.
lithe he is.
Mhm.
It's
His parents
freaking.
are like dancers and performers, right?
Right.
Right.
Also, he's
Yeah.
a good boxer.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like just his movements are
Mhm.
so atypical,
What?
and like he's like, it's like watching him is cool. Like he looks
Yes.
cool the way he moves.
He's free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
he
there's this
moves freely.
skateboarder named Jimmy Wilkins who's like breaking every barrier on skateboarding, and he actually uses his knees to contact the
Confusing
board
myself,
and move the
man.
board while his hands are free. And
Ah.
he's a smaller guy, real small, real lithe, super loose ankles. And I said to him, like, what do your parents do? And he goes, my mom's a ballerina and my dad's an orchestra conductor.
Ah.
This guy's using his knees on the board. So like he does everything, not everything, but he does a lot of things hands-free at Mach speed. For people in skateboarding, they probably just want to see flips and 900 varials, and that stuff's cool. But he makes everything look so good. I mean, Jimmy, for those that are in the know, Jimmy Wilkins is the next, like Tony will say, Tony Hawk, everyone will say, like watching Jimmy, look, see, the whole thing here is that Jimmy's skateboarding is like perfect poetry. Like, so the reason, so his back knee is often used to stabilize the board because he's got that hip looseness that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And so he's doing
That's
great.
incredible.
He won X Games last year, not this year. This year he took third. So
Those
but,
guys
you know.
get banged up,
Yeah,
though.
yeah, he
Those
gets
guys
banged
get a lot of concussions.
Yeah, he's big on the nicotine. I'm trying to get him to quit the nicotine, so he because he loves the nicotine. But between
Why are you getting him to quit?
like I don't have a problem with people taking nicotine,
Pouches?
but
Does he-
it's a vasoconstrictor, raises blood pressure. As long as you're healthy in other ways, I just think that I see people go from like one pouch to a canister a day.
Oh, yeah.
It's
And
just-
they ramp up the dosage,
Yeah.
too. I like threes. I
Okay.
like mild, 3 milligrams.
3 milligrams.
But Lucy sent me some that are 12s. Jesus Louises.
I can do like half a piece of Nicorette.
I put
and I'm-
the 12 in my mouth for like 30 seconds, and my body's like, get it out of here.
That's a lot. I mean, it seems like you're good at keeping things in that useful but not excessive domain.
Yes. Well, I'm a control freak in that way. I know I want to be in control. I don't ever want to be out of control. Like I've never been addicted to a other than coffee, I guess. But I've taken time off of coffee too, just because I know that I like it too much. But coffee doesn't overwhelm me, right? So if I felt like coffee was overwhelming me, or if it was difficult to acquire or illegal, I probably would quit coffee.
I chuckle, but at the rate the world's going,
Well,
it's
the way the
probably
world-
going to be illegal.
Well,
You
it's
know,
always
like-
good. The reason why coffee is legal and is the reason why they created meth, really, because it's good for productivity. Like coffee keeps you from getting tired. It's good for productivity. It's also enjoyable. People like a nice warm liquid. I love, and since I really got into coffee from doing this podcast, really, I drink it black. I like coffee. I like the taste. I look forward to it. I have one every morning. I like it. But
I
if
love it in the afternoon.
But if I thought it was fucking with my life, 100% I would quit.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I've had times in my life where I was drinking too much, mostly because of comedy. Because nights you're out with your boys and everybody wants to drink. They're all drinking. My friends are all drunks. Like, like a good solid
Not all of them.
percentage.
Whitney doesn't drink.
No, Whitney does not drink. But a good solid percentage of my friends drink a lot. They drink all the time. They drink at clubs. Like
I tried
Shane
to get
Gillis.
Bert to quit.
Bert is not going to quit.
Well, he asked me to help him
Oh,
quit.
he doesn't mean
Otherwise,
that. He just
I
wants you to
wouldn't-
talk to him.
Oh,
Just
okay.
talk about Bert.
I'll
That's
talk
what he
about him.
wants. But that's what he wants. So
Oh,
let's
I'll
talk
talk
about
about
me.
him.
Let's talk about me,
I see.
about how I have to quit.
Got it.
Come on, talk to me about
Got it.
me. Let's make it all about Bert. That's what Bert likes. He's not going to quit.
Well, he was doing better with his health, and then he posted that photo of himself in the wetsuit. Come on, Bert. Like, get with it.
Did he get fat again?
Well-
He sent me a picture the other day. He was all skinny. Is he lying?
No,
Son
he's
of a
looking more
bitch.
like a melted candle.
Son of a bitch.
Um,
He got big at least. He got jacked. He started
That's
lifting
good.
weights.
I feel bad making fun of him, but I'm not making
He
fun
likes
of him.
it.
I'm just worried.
long as you're talking
I'm
about
just
him.
worried about his health.
Oh, yeah, that's not good, Bert.
I'm worried about your health.
Well, the
Bert.
thing is, Bert is on tour, right? He's got painted toenails too. What the fuck are you doing? He's on tour, so he's on this fully loaded tour where he's doing all these arenas with all his friends, and they're doing activities constantly. They go to water parks. I don't know if they go to water parks. Shit like that.
Can't he
Ride
bring a
unicycles.
kettlebell or something?
They do that too, but he gets drunk every night.
Yeah, that's
And it's not just like a little bit of beer; it's a lot of beer. It's a lot of. They have a vodka company now. That's not good. Now they have their own vodka, so he's
What's
drinking
that
his
saying?
soda.
Everybody loves a young drunk. But as time goes on, it does not look pretty.
Yes, but there's a curve when it comes back around again. You see a 90-year-old guy that's hammered. That guy's fun.
Oh,
Like
my.
then they're wild again. You know, a 90-year-old guy with like a fucking straw hat on and a gun. He's drunk.
Yeah, I must say.
Like Hunter S. Thompson when he was before he died.
Oh man, I must say I thoroughly enjoyed your live comedy.
Oh,
on
thank
Netflix.
you. Thank you very much.
Watched it 3 times.
Thank you. That's another. That one was another example of doing something I didn't want to do, because they offered me to do it live, and I was like, "Fuck that!" Like, I want to be able to edit mistakes out. I want to have 4 shows and pick the best one and do that. I don't want to do it fucking live. That's who fucking needs that pressure?
It was so good. I watched the first one with my girlfriend. We watched it as it was happening. Then I watched it with my friend Tim when he's out on tour. Like Green Day Rants, all these 90s bands, Smashing Pumpkins, are out on tour, like stadiums with 90,000 people.
Isn't that crazy?
So it's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I went out because I'm like, big Rancid fan, and I like the other guys too, but I'm a big Rancid fan. I was like, holy cow, like people love this stuff.
Yeah.
Again. Anyway, we watched it again there, and then I've watched it again. I will say it felt very cathartic to me. I don't know how it felt for you, but it felt really cathartic.
Oh, the subject matter?
The subject matter, and also like the next day was pure like delight and just baffled and shocked all at the same time when on Twitter I see a clip taken completely out of context about a bit about taking things out of context. It's like life had like looped back on itself. You were talking about things being taken out of context, and they were taking it out of context. They had like cut it.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait. I remember that very differently. Because I remember things that I hear pretty well. And I was like, went back and I was like, wait, he's talking about things being taken out of context, and they're taking it out of context.
Yeah, they don't care. But there's always some people that are just, this is not in good faith. Everything they're doing is just trying to find something wrong with everything you're doing. And it's usually people that their life is a mess. There's no one who does that, who is a healthy, accomplished person who has great relationships in their life and is doing really well at some skill or chosen profession that they enjoy very much. Right. They're not fulfilled.
Right.
They're
Or
not
people are
having
trying to politicize something.
Yeah.
Or they're trying to get clicks off your name.
There's a lot of that, for sure. So there's a business in that. And then there's also people that are doing, like MSNBC did this recently, and this has gotten so popular that my fucking stepdad contacted me to tell me he's happy that I'm suing MSNBC. I'm like, I'm not suing MSNBC. But this is what MSNBC did. They took a clip of me talking. There's a profession that they enjoy. They edited it up and made it look like I was saying great things about Kamala Harris.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
You and I have been mashed up on other stuff
Yeah.
and AI, and I don't want to, like you said, we don't want to draw attention that they got taken off the internet, thank goodness, but it was bullshit. It was
Yeah.
it was AI and mashup.
Yeah,
They
there's
did-
a lot of
but they
AI
did that
ads
about,
with us.
They did that
Yeah.
about politics.
Yes, they did it about politics, but they didn't do it like AI. They just deceptively edited the things that I was saying took it completely out of context. Where I was talking about, first of all, I was talking about Tulsi Gabbard, and then I was talking about that the media behind Kamala Harris, all this surge and all these people just deciding that she's good, she could win, and they put the two of those together and made it seem like I was praising Kamala Harris and saying a bunch of things that aren't even true about her. Like, I was talking about Tulsi Gabbard being a congresswoman for 8 years and about how she served overseas, two deployments in medical units dealing with people who were blown up from the war. Like, that's not something Kamala Harris did. It's something Tulsi Gabbard did. I was just saying things about her, and they put it out there as a clip of me praising Kamala Harris. But they don't care about the truth. They just want a narrative to get out there amongst enough people, because most people are just surface readers, right? They read a headline, and I'd be guilty of that many times. You read a headline, oh, I know what that is, and then you shut your laptop. I got it now. I got the whole. So if you read an article that says, you know, Andrew Schultz is a liar, like, oh, he's a liar. I heard he's a liar, and then you just start repeating he's a liar. It doesn't have to be real. And so all they have to do with, so, like, how many people are actually going to watch my Netflix special? Well, it was a lot, but compared to the amount of people in the country, not a lot. You know, a small percentage. So all you have to do is take something out of context from someone who's never going to watch it in the first place, put it in front of them, like, oh, that piece of shit. Can't believe he said that. Even though I'm literally talking about things being taken out of context.
The part about this is so frustrating to me is that, like, at some point, especially as a scientist, right? Like, that's data selection, right? Like, if you look at data and you look at scientific experimentation, it starts with a question, you generate a hypothesis, you collect data, you publish the results, and you get to state your conclusions. Now let's talk about what you're talking about. In the world of science, I don't think there's a lot of outright data fraud, but a lot of experiments that don't work, people come up with excuses to eliminate.
But there is some data fraud, right?
Yeah, like there certainly is some data fraud.
The amyloid plaques thing with
there's certainly some
Alzheimer's.
data fraud, and there's a range of underlying reasons. One of the more common reasons that people don't talk about, which is something to really strongly inoculate in laboratories against, is when a laboratory is known for doing very, very good work, oftentimes the graduate students and postdocs that go there feel like they need to give the boss the result. So sometimes it's unbeknownst to the person running the lab. There have been a lot of cases in recent years of papers being discovered as having major issues, and that's like, well, do you go after the lab head or do you go after the person who did it? Lab heads are responsible for everything in their lab. AI is helping with this because you can scan data and look at things, but, you know, ambition is a dangerous thing, you know, if somebody puts ambition ahead of accuracy.
Sure.
Okay. So there's that kind of thing. And then there's outright data fraud. I mean, there was this nanotechnologist guy from some years back, I think his last name was Schoen, who had like 20 papers in Science and Nature in 2 years. And it turns out he wasn't even bothering to, he was fabricating data. The papers were all retracted. And I don't know what he's doing now. But the noise plots, the random noise plots in these papers were the way he got caught. What it turned out is that, I mean, I'm chuckling because it's like he was so lazy,
Too far into the day.
ambitious, but so lazy that he didn't even bother to use new random noise plots from one paper to the next. So somebody said, wait, random should be random. Why is it the same in these two papers? Boom, and then the whole thing unraveled.
Wow.
Eventually.
So lazy.
So he was particularly ambitious, lazy, and that was outright fraud.
Right.
There are all sorts of other cases and things like that. And you know, there's people who make this their sport to talk about. Most scientists are trying to get the correct answers. I do believe that. Most scientists have good faith. They're trying to get the answers. But it's hard. Science is hard.
That's how
Now,
elite we
what
are.
you're talking about,
I don't
to
feel
me,
we can
sounds
target
like
those highs. This should be the
people
safest thing.
deliberately grabbing from the palette of paints that is the words that are spoken by anybody on the internet, especially people with podcasts, you or me or anybody else, and then literally cutting and pasting things together to create a story which is fiction.
Do you know who Pink Trip is?
Okay, that's not.
You don't know Pink Trip? Pink Trip is hilarious. He's a guy on the internet who takes clips of podcasts and creates narratives of things that are totally not happening.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of
There's
you.
one recently, me and Tucker Carlson are having an argument.
I haven't seen that one.
It's good. Somebody sent it to me. Who fucking sent it? See if you can find it.
Yeah, I remember one of you and Elon, several perhaps. Yeah, so I know that.
So Pink Trip is
Pink Trips.
No, it's a dude.
Oh, okay.
His name is Pink. So here it is, Pink Trip. So it's visible.
What? No.
Space is real.
Are you joking?
You're a science denier.
What? Stop.
The bodies of science have bestowed the truth. if you
If
ignore
I
it.
get another fucking lecture from you, I'm gonna go crazy.
When did you start having this opinion?
Shut the fuck up, bitch. You're a fucking idiot.
Don't do that anymore.
What are you gonna do about it, bitch? What are you gonna do about it? You are literally powerless.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna do whatever I want. What are you gonna do about it?
You could get your ass kicked.
Are you threatening me?
Yeah. I think you are a far-right, white supremacist,
I have
racist.
no respect for you. You're like my dog. Does it ever occur to you that you're like disgusting? Just like vulgar, just like a pig. If I were to sort of narrow down my bigotries, it's like people like you, I just think you're disgusting. So these are actual spoken words kludged together.
Yeah. About completely different things. It's really masterful. Do you want to die? Watch.
If I take a 9mm round, 7.62 by 39, and shoot you, can you catch the bullet?
You can't do that.
What are you gonna do about it?
I got a bigger one.
Why would you hide that? That was just wrong. That's not fair.
Isn't that funny? But this is funny, right?
Right.
He does that with a lot of stuff, like people pretending to be in love with. He makes it like there's a romance between
So
like,
good.
me and different people. But that's funny. That's art, right? He's making a story that doesn't exist. It's really funny, right? But there's people that do it just to either. In this case, it was to promote Kamala Harris, to get the passive listener, the people that are, the casual, to go, oh wow, Joe Rogan likes Kamala Harris.
I've heard
Yeah.
I heard you're endorsing and not endorsing all sorts of people.
Yeah,
And,
I can't even say I like somebody without it being an endorsement and people getting mad. But I think the MAGA people are happy now that Robert F. Kennedy is now with Trump. So I think
they've unified the belts.
yeah, I think we're in a very weird time with the media, and I think truth is super important. And I think someone that's willing to do something like that, that's a real offense. It's a real offense. It's not a small thing. It's a real lie, and it's a lie that changes other people's opinion. You take what's perceived to be an influential person and you distort their views in either a way to shame them, make them look bad, or to promote someone else. Like, that's a real lie. That's a dangerous lie. It's a real offense, and I think that there's no laws against that right now. It's except libel law. I mean, you could take someone to court, I guess, but it's a real bad thing. It's a real gross lie, and it's used right now to manipulate public opinion.
Yeah, completely out of context.
Mm-hmm.
In the example you gave.
Yeah.
And certainly I'm familiar with examples where context is completely cut off at the point where
Yeah.
it leads to a false conclusion.
Oh, sure.
Like where the story is completely different. The reason I gave the counterexample of science is, when you're trained as a scientist, you're trained to try and parse what's real and what's not real and give the best, version of that you can. And then you are allowed to state your conclusions. But I have a question. At what point do you think the general public will come to understand that this is the way that a lot of things that they see out there are constructed to some degree or another, and stop actually believing it?
It depends on who the public is. This is the issue right now with boomers, right? Old liberals in particular. All they do is watch the news and read the newspaper, and whatever's printed, they believe. And it's very difficult to get them to consider, like, hey, maybe someone's lying. Maybe there's propaganda campaigns. Maybe there's like this widespread media narrative that they're pushing because corporations are behind it and advertising is behind it, and they're figuring out a way to manipulate the public opinion on things. It's very hard to get old boomers to believe that,
Right.
because they're old, okay? So they're set in their ways. Their mind has formed around, I am a liberal, I'm a Democrat, I've been a Democrat my whole life. This is how I feel about these issues. This is my community, this is my tribe, these are my people, and the news says this, and I'm with them, and oh great, we're up in the polls now. And for them, it's like they're on a team. It might as well be the Dolphins versus the Raiders. It's the same kind of mentality in their head. And they don't want to be challenged. That little part of their brain that exists when you challenge yourself and do things you don't want to do, that bitch is shriveled up to almost nothing. and they're real boring, and their lives are entirely excited by political discourse.
Do you think it's all boomers?
Yeah, it's mostly boomers. I think young people are way less likely to buy into bullshit now. There's young people that are ideologically captured for sure. You see that both with right-wing
Oh, no,
people
sorry.
and with left-wing people.
Sorry, I mean, do you think that all boomers believe in the traditional media like that?
Yes, it's mostly because they grew up with it. They're the ones. The kids today, they don't buy it at all. Like Gen Z kids and whatever the fuck what's the newest? Is this what's the latest? Whatever these kids are.
Yeah.
These young kids coming up
Wait,
today, like
what?
people in their
I don't wanna
20s,
get
they
out.
don't believe it at all.
Well, I'll tell you,
I did not know that.
I'll
if I switched
non-reluctantly
indexes,
tell you, my
we're gonna hit
dad
surplus.
and I,
What
over
the-
the years, like we had some early issues and we resolved them and we're good now. But when some
Wait, I guess
not so kind press came
Oh,
out about
stop
me, they
that.
interviewed a lot of people. They interviewed a lot of people from my high school class and friends and coworkers, and then cherry picked for the story they
Alright,
wanted
we
to
got
create. But they talked to my
maximum
dad.
greed.
Okay, and I would not put my dad into the political camp that you described, or any camp really. But he's a first-generation immigrant, moved here from Argentina, did his PhD under a scholarship from the Navy. You know, it was like a story of an immigrant who came here and became a scientist. There
America's
was,
dream.
yeah, there wasn't a lot of science to do in Argentina. There's not a lot of funding for it, right?
I think it's sleep time, and I'll be back tomorrow for sure. Good night.